Here is today's project on the crew cab. So I'm working on my rear traction bars right now. I don't have the tube steel yet. I had to order it. So anyway, went and got this sheet of 1/4 inch 4x8 this morning. That was a good old $300 gone. So anyway, this is what I have done so far. Obviously, I cut this with a torch. Got some kind of Ninja Star looking thing here that I'll cut out later, where it went around all this. But anyway, I ground all this down already, the parts that need to be pretty. The inside, I'm not super worried about making it perfect because it's going to be welded to the rear end anyway, so it's not even going to be visible where all these waves are left at. So here's what I'm going for. They're going to mount just like that, parallel to the ground, right there, and that is right directly under the frame. And they're going to be 80 inches. They're going to go under the passenger side door, or the rear doors, I mean. I can't mount to the bottom of this because this one bolts to the top of the leaf springs. The orange truck over there on the 2nd gen frame, the U-bolts come from the top and go down, and they just stick out the bottom. So I could have bolted these on, but not on this truck. So they'll have to be welded. But the Ford ones, basically they're just gonna be kind of like a triangle shape. They're gonna mount right here in this area. So I'm gonna cut those out with the grinder because these are nice straight lines. And then 4 of these, 4 of those, then we'll get the tube steel here in a few days. That's probably gonna be another 300 bucks. I decided I'm gonna use bushings. I was gonna make adjustable bars originally, and buy Heim joints, but that was gonna be another 200 bucks. And then it dawned on me, I was like, I'm gonna buying these new bushings anyway. So these are 1.5 outside diameter, which is what the inside of the tube is. So that's gonna work out real nice. These are just kind of crusty looking. There's really nothing wrong with them. So anyway, I'll have new ones for the front, and then I'll just use these ones for the back on the traction bars. And hopefully that'll keep it from clanking and rattling, because one of my buddies had a truck that had traction bars, and every time he'd launch, it would like clack and rattle and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna paint my lift myself. I drilled some holes in it earlier because obviously you can see where it got rust damage because it was a pocket before. So it's all sandblasted now. I have it all back. The springs over here, brackets and such. So I was gonna paint all this stuff black, springs, traction bars, and the forward, here they are, the forward ones, all gonna be metallic gray. Was my plan. I know I said blue in one of those last videos, but I changed my mind. So metallic gray, and then I kind of considered just painting all this metallic gray instead of the brackets black. So I haven't fully decided how I'm going to do that yet.
Let's get started. Real good. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me.
I had to pick up on this the next day, but these are done now. They turned out pretty good. So these are going to bolt to the frame, bar down here to the back, and these get welded to the rear end. Kind of look like little dirt bike helmets or something. Anyway, I cut a chamfer on the inside where it's going to be welded, and yeah, a lot of grinding on these things to make these happen. But anyway, so this is the problem that I ran into. These holes are 9/16 holes, and I matched them up to this bushing because that's what we're going to be using, is these old bushings here. They're not like loose or anything. They're just, I'm going to put new ones on the front end components. Anyway, this is like M14, it seems like. I'd say it's a pretty reasonable guess since this is on a modern truck. So anyway, 9/16 is real close. But the bottom line here is I'm going to have to come up with bolts. So these are 9/16. These are some random Chevy bolts that I got. And it fits pretty well. But I don't have enough of these. This is the only one I got that's even halfway long enough. They're going to have to be 4.5 inches to go through this, through the frame. Well, these ones. And bolt to and have enough on the other side to stick a nut on. And then these, probably 4.5 inches as well, because they got to go through this and then, you know, the other side. So they'll be that thick. So anyway, that's the holdup right now. I can't just go down to the hardware store and grab those bolts because they do not have enough. They got a handful of metric ones and a handful of standard ones, but they don't seem to have nuts for either one. And also I don't want to mismatch metric and standard, so I'm gonna have to go somewhere. I think I'm gonna need like 16 of these total, 4, 5, 10 total for this, and then I think I need some for the front end maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that's the holdup as of right now. And then I'm still waiting on my tubes, the quarter wall 2-inch tube. So hopefully tomorrow that gets shipped in. I ordered it from a place. They had to ship it in from Chattanooga. So we're going to find something else to do in the meantime. One of these guys commented on my last video. And he's like, why doesn't the orange truck ever move? Well, it's because I only drive this one now. But this truck doesn't have heat yet or door seals. And plus what I'm about to do, I'm definitely not about to do in that truck. But it's snowing today. We're about to put the old orange truck to work. right, so here is where we are at with this project. Haven't really done much. Waiting on parts, actually. So the traction bars, I've got the brackets made for the back. I've got the brackets made for the mid-frame area. They're back there on the workbench. I'm waiting right now for the steel to make the bars themselves. So they're gonna be two 80-inch bars with fixed ends, just bushings. I'm gonna reuse the bushings out of the front. I ordered a bunch of parts. So ordered the new bushings for the front. I ordered bolts, a whole bunch of bolts and nuts, 9/16 by 12 for these holes on the bushings. I didn't order M14 because they're like $12 a bolt. So I figured I'll just get a 9/16 drill bit and oversize the bushings by like a 32nd or whatever it is. So anyway, that's what I'm waiting on. And then so my front brackets, I painted these the other day. This is just pour 15. I only really needed to do the pocket area where it had the pitting from before, but I just did the whole things and got carried away because I was bored and I'm just trying to find random projects to do. I did the bottom of the springs where they sit in the cups. And then yesterday I basically made a mess that I shouldn't have probably shouldn't have done. But anyway, I took the dash out and I tried to stick this Dodge heater unit in here to see if I could use it. And you know, it plugs in, it works, the fan moves, this valve thing here, whatever that is, whatever you call it, for interior air or exterior air, it moves, everything functions, except for the fact that it does not have any hoses hooked to it. So I was considering rearranging my firewall, but that's gonna be so much work. I really think it'd be easier just to spend $1,200-1,500 or whatever to get a vintage air system. The orange truck does have a vintage air system, and I don't know, I almost robbed that out of the orange truck because I never did connect the air conditioning in here. So, you know, there it is up in there. Actually, that originally came out of the black Chevy before it got wrecked, and it did have air conditioning, but I was a hard-headed high schooler and I was like, no, I'm not going to use air conditioning. I have wing windows. So anyway, it had it, I just rarely used it. Ordered tires for the front. Yeah, I spent probably $1,200 on this just yesterday, and then you know, another $1,000 over the course of the week. Some of that was just buying this huge chunk of steel. I think those bars are going to be plenty expensive, probably at least $300 or better, because I'm buying a whole 20-foot section. And then I got to buy paint as well this week. This cool old guy, I came here, this is where I got that red C60 from that I hauled home in the bed of the orange truck. And he's got another one in there in front of that John Deere. And he's got one out back that I just pulled a heater box out of. So I'm gonna put an old school heater box in this thing just to get it rolling for this winter, so that way I don't have to let it sit all winter and freeze to death. But anyway, that's pretty freaking cool. And then also that C60 back there had a steel dump bed on it that was already like an excellent dump bed for doing landscaping type stuff. That little pig's following me. I hope he don't run out in the highway. Oh, that pig's following me. That's silly. So this is going to be my temporary repair to the situation with this truck having no heat. It's a little bit crusty down there, but I think I can fix it. And if not, this was free. So yeah, it was like 30 minutes of pulling bolts out. One of them was a major pain, and that's why it took 30 minutes. But anyway, that C60 that this came out of has a pretty good dump bed on it, and I was always wanting to build a dump trailer out of my C60 frame back here because it still has the cylinder on it. But this one's already on the frame, everything's bolted together, and he's like, hey dude, you can have this thing for scrap price. So basically 300-ish bucks And I think a C60 frame probably weighs enough that it would be worth more than that in scrap, but I don't know. But either way, $300, and I get the other C60. I'm gonna build a dump trailer out of it. And I always wanted to put a dump cylinder back here, so that may happen. But this is the reason that there's not a dump cylinder back here right now. So all that's coming up. Here is the 11 p.m. update. This thing does not fit. So it's hitting the transmission dipstick and also this coolant that comes off of the lower engine block and also the turbo actuator. I just have it looped back over to that one to make it a closed system. But you can see it needs to go like 2 or 3 inches further that way where that 7/16 bolt is. So I probably could move this, you know, over the manifold and cut that low and just put the hose. I bought new hose. I got all excited. I bought new hose. I was like, this is gonna work out. And then I ran into 2 problems. This is the second one. I'll show you the first problem I had in a second. But anyway, I thought about cutting that low, putting a T in it, and just, you know, putting it back onto this turbo actuator. And then running it from low up to, you know, whichever one of those that it goes to. Obviously, this one's not going to be an issue. You just turn this thing around. It swivels. So, yeah, it swivels. So, anyway, I was going to paint that. I took the top cover off. The motor is out of the bottom, and the motor is the first problem. It is, in fact, locked up. It does not spin, not even a little bit. So, it was also free 99, so not that upset. So I done threw it in scrap. I put it in the vise, as you can see here, and really tried to turn it, so now it's also warped. So that's $70 for a remand one, or like $30 to $40 for a pre-owned one on eBay. So, or I could just go back to that dude and get the dump trailer stuff that I was going to do. And he said that he has the other truck that I could rob parts off of if I would like. So, not too bad of a deal. So, here's what I'm doing in the meantime. These are the bushings out of that lift kit. These 3 I've drilled already with the 9/16 drill bit. So, here's the clearance difference. I set this one at 14 millimeter. Based on that one. And this is probably literally less than a 30-second, so you can see there's just like barely any daylight on the right side there. But anyway, that's all I took out of it for whoever thought that I was about to ruin my bushings or something. And then these 9/16 bolts go straight in there. How's this for some truck activities? Good old Southern Indiana living right here. So I got a bajillion different projects going on here, and I'm gonna have to really focus and work pretty hard today to get all this done. I'm gonna try to make this heater box work. I went and got the motor from that guy that had the C60. So this is a brand new motor. I done bolted this back to it. This is not in, could be in better shape, but it is holding together. Hopefully that lasts for a while, at least to get us through this winter. This is not the permanent fix. Obviously, vintage heat and air will get done to this truck at some point, and I did test it, and that's what that wire there is for. It definitely moves some air. But my plans here, you can see the truck got absolutely filthy with the deer shenanigans, so washing is on the agenda as well. So what I'm going to do with this being rotted out like it is, I'm going to cut out a circle, and then I'm going to clean this all up with a wire wheel, and then I'm going to JB weld that circle to this, and not weld, because I probably will tack it in a few spots around the edge, but you know, if I do that, it's just going to blow a hole and create more of a mess. So like I said, this is enough for this winter. Honestly, JB weld would probably last for a reasonably long time, but that's my plan, and I will probably tack it in a few spots. What else do I got going on still? This door, so this is still not finished. It latches, but then you just got to manually open it from the inside back here. So, and I messed up and cut the wrong hole there. Anyway, so I got to build all the mechanisms to make this and the inside one work. And then finally, I've got my DOM tube. I've been waiting on this since last Tuesday. So, got two 80-inch pieces. And I think those are the 80-inch ones, and this is just the extra. So that's probably enough to build at least one more. And then I'll chop some sections off the end of that, weld them onto that perpendicular, and then stick some bushings in there, and then it will be a traction bar. All right, I got 4 of these little things made. The bungs for the brake, or the bushings, and then got my tubes sanded down. Bare metal, doesn't have any of that gray stuff on there, whatever that's called. So anyway, this will be better surface to paint off of. So now what we do is fish mouths. So I'm gonna trace these out and then get to cutting some more. Dang, buddy, look at that. So the back is tack welded on, and then that's clamped on. So what I'm about to do next is get the punch and the hammer and go down there and pop little divots right in the holes that I've made. I've taken the straight edge and I've gone from the top of the frame, so it's exactly 4 3/4 all the way across. I'm gonna double check that again before I go and pop holes in it though. Anyway, they're both done. Well, they're both on at least. And so the other big thing that I did that's making this truck look good right now is I lifted the front up about 2 inches or so. Hopefully what that 4-inch kit puts in there. So it's 2.5 now, and it's going to 4-inch. And like I said, long time ago in that video, when I first got these things, those blocks, those are 2.5 inch blocks. So if I put the 4 inch on there and it's too low, then I can take those 2.5 inch blocks out and, you know, cut them and do whatever I got to do to make this truck sit perfectly level. So anyway, about to drill some holes in the frame now and then finish welding. It's been a long day of nothing but prep work. I finished up these things on the truck earlier. And then I drilled some holes and I tapped them for grease fittings. So got all these hung up all the way across the garage. So the way this is about to work out is all this stuff gets painted black, and that too, and then all this stuff over here gets painted the graphite gray. So anyway, it's 4 o'clock already. I got started as early as I could this morning, and I've literally cleaned out the garage, you know, swept up all the filth and dust, and then cleaned these up the rest of the day, and that little bit of doing that stuff this morning. Anyway, I'm gonna pressure wash this truck if I get time today. It has gotten absolutely filthy over this last week. All this and deer blood in the back, and ain't been vacuumed out in forever. So yeah, we're gonna take some time and clean that once we get this primer on. Today's project, we're gonna see what we can get done. I know I'll get the traction bars done. I think that'll take like 30 minutes to pop them back on the truck. I don't have the adapters and I don't have the tires for the dually wheels yet, but so none of that's gonna get done. Anyway, if I do get to it, front suspension, I don't think I'll be able to get the whole lift done. I think I'm gonna have to buy some bolts, and the hardware store is closed today. And they probably don't even have that length of bolt anyway, so we'll see. But I got ball joints and wheel bearings right there that we might be able to get done. We'll see. And if nothing else, I can drop the whole front diff out and start putting together that lift kit. Drop brackets for the sway bar, new coil springs, a pitman arm. What else? Oh, there's a drop bracket for the traction bar on the front. track bar, whatever it's called. Anyway, all this is lined up back here. Got all the black ones hanging from the ceiling. New bushings, pretty cool sticker for the toolbox. Shiny new paint on everything. Yeah, these look pretty good. So anyway, excited. We're gonna get some stuff done. We got this lift kit on the truck. It drives, actually it feels like it's factory, to be honest. It's pretty cold out this morning. Still have not got the heater situation figured out. I just don't have time to get that done yet. Anyway, so I put the 4-inch drop pitman arm on there, and now we're out of alignment just a little bit. But of course the front tires didn't get messed with, so they're still straight. Truck still drives straight, you see. Anyhow, I gotta get it aligned. I tore up the rod end for the pitman arm. Not too bad, but I did booger up the boot. I mean, it wasn't like super loose or anything, but I definitely boogered up the boot trying to get it apart. So I'll get new tie rod ends. That would be a smart thing to do since I'm about to put 15 wides on the front. Super singles. But anyway, yeah, we drive good. I don't have the shocks done yet. And honestly, these BDS springs, they're not super bouncy, because I remember driving, you know, this on the stock suspension without shocks there for a minute because they were flat, and I just didn't put them back in there before I got the new ones. It would just keep on bouncing, just keep on going and going. And same thing with that rat truck I used to have. It had shocks, but they were flat, and it just kept on bouncing. But yeah, so the BDS kit relocates the track bar 4 inches down, and then also the drop pitman arm 4 inches down. So basically it drives like a factory truck. I mean, it drives really good. I expected it to be able to feel this at least a little bit, but so anyway, the action plan right now is I'm gonna get this the rest of the way home, and I'm gonna cut up some 1/4-inch steel plates and make shock tower deletes so I can still use my factory height shocks that I have until I buy some new ones. Well, this is it, man. I think I'm gonna have to call it good for this week's video. We got the lift done. We got the traction bars done. I did not get my heater done. We'll work on that. That is gonna be the next video. Also, that door is still in complete disrepair where I chopped it open and didn't get that finished. But anyway, here's a recap. We got shock tower deletes now. So we got them stuck back in there. Just some cheap old eBay ones. We'll get Fox shocks at some point, but these still have pressure, so they work good. Springs, I just put ceramic wax on all this brand new paint and wiped down some of the sections on the frame where it's kind of gross. Wiped down part of the truck too, the blue parts of it at least. So made it a little better. But yeah, so this door is not done. The latch is a little bit low, so that's why my body lines are just a hair bit off. So it does latch. You just have to get on the inside and unlatch it until I get the mechanisms made. Oh yeah, I just adjusted my headlights because I drove this last night and they were pointed straight at the sky after sitting so low in the front. The truck really sits a lot higher now. Like it's chest level with me now, so it's pretty high. So anyway, as far as next week goes, it's probably gonna be a sheet metal week. We're gonna be messing with this door. You gotta reach down in here to unlatch it. So, and all that's gonna be adjustable. I'm gonna remake that 1/8 inch piece right there. I don't like how it is, so I'm gonna redo that one. And I got, you know, my template for the door itself marked out for the rear door, so I can cut that one out. Yeah, so I gotta finish welding, it looks like, and grind. So yeah, I have this template cut out for the rear, or marked out for the rear one. So we'll do this door, and then we'll have to make another template for the driver's side and fill in that hole where I screwed up. So we latch, we're just a hair bit low. And so the heater, we'll mess with that. That'll be next week's video too, because that's going to involve some sheet metal work just the same. And I'll be moving that stuff and the dipstick, which I kind of need to do something about the dipstick anyway. I think since I've got the cab like actually mounted to the frame now, it's not hitting. But when I first set this cab on the frame, it was hitting down there, and it was putting a side load on this, and it was leaking where the dipstick goes into the transmission pan, which you can't even see from here. But anyway, yeah, exhaust is back on. I had to trim the skid plate to fit around the lift over here, but that wasn't any big deal. One of those metric bolts was a little bit stripped out, and anyway, I did not have a metric tap, so it has a 5/16 by 18 1/2 inch screw in there now. Oh, I greased my joints. You can see a little bit of grease sitting there. So all my brand new bushings and joints are greased. The tie rod ends are non-greasable type, so we're gonna get brand new ones anyway. I think that would be the right thing to do now that I'm about to put 15 wides on the front and 24 on the back. Actually, I think they're gonna be 13.5s per dually wheel in the back, so it's gonna be like 26 or 7 in the back, so it's gonna be pretty beefy. Well, anyway, yeah, let's go for a cruise right quick. steering wheel being pumped sideways. Get it aligned when we get the new rod ends on here. But yeah, it drives just like it did when it was stock. Other than I can tell that it's higher in the front, so that's nice. But yeah, I mean the steering's tight. I just messed up the boot, and it probably needs new ones anyway. Judging from the look of that one control arm, so it's obviously been a minute since the front end's been messed with. My goal with that heater, whenever I do the heater, is I'm gonna see if, you know, I can use the fan here because it's got 4 different settings and off. Whatever the power that wire controls, I'm hoping that over there I can tap into that for the old school heater and basically have it with 4 settings and off. So that's my goal for when I mess with that thing. Oh yeah. And this door, it's showing that it's open right there. Passenger door open. So that switch is hooked up. So I'm thinking maybe that switch got boogered whenever I was messing with it. And also these dome lights stay on, so I have to basically just turn them off over there because it thinks that door's open all the time. So that's another thing I gotta figure out.